Welcome to Love, Life, and Marriage with
The Woods.
I am Seiko.
And I'm Sharon.
And welcome to our channel. Please do the following if you'd be so kind. Please like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell at the bottom of the video. That way when we go live, post content, or any other information, you'll be one of the first to view it. Also, if you'd like to support the ministry financially, you can do so through the donation and giving options below at the bottom of the video. If you'd like to support the ministry through our merchandise, through VCV gear, you can do that as well through the information listed on the screen as well. If you'd like to contact us via email, you can do that by my name or my wife's name. We love to hear from you. We'd love to know what you think about the content and the videos that we have brought out thus far. From the beginning of our video, since we started, to the very current video where we are now, from what I was told before we went on recording this particular video, I was told that this is the last video. This is the grand finale. This is the last video. Not the last video of our entire channel, but it's the last video of this particular series, okay? So, this is parts. Yes, ma'am.
We need to ask our viewers if they would like to have some Love, Life, and Marriage with the Woods merch.
Oh, so we're gonna make that?
Yeah.
Okay, we can discuss that. I mean, that's your idea. I'm gonna let you run with that. So y'all heard it here. This is impromptu stuff. So yeah, if you want Love, Life, and Marriage with the Woods merchandise, let us know. Give us some ideas, suggestions as well, and you can put it in the comments below, or you can email us that as well. So, but this is part 7 of the video, and the last video that we were together. My wife shared with you all and with us what forgiveness looks like. Near the end of the video, you heard my wife's heart. You heard how she was willing to forgive. Matter of fact, approached her abuser with the posture and attitude of forgiveness, and even shared with her abuser how she felt toward him even before he had asked for forgiveness. And I want to make that clear. She did not confer forgiveness until forgiveness was sought. And that's important. And so in the last video, we talked about the difference in the extremes of people that just grant forgiveness to those who have sinned against them without them asking or seeking to be forgiven. And we discussed last time how God does not do that with us. When we sin against him, he expects us to confess, to say what our sin is, and then to ask for forgiveness. And then based on his mercy and his grace, he confers, he grants us forgiveness. And he said it is the same way that we are to be toward anyone and everyone who seeks and asks us for forgiveness. And I know there may be some of you out there who have suffered abuse, who have been, violently abused, whether it was through a relationship with a significant other, or with a spouse, or with a parent or a loved one, and you may find it very hard to forgive. That's understandable. That is totally understandable, especially when the person has not asked to be forgiven. But we do know that God has given us the power and the ability to do so. And so we have to be in that attitude, that spirit, and that posture of forgiveness. We do not seek to do wrong, although we've been wronged against. So I just want to encourage you, we both want to encourage you, that God sees and God knows. And I'm glad my wife said that there may be people that may never ask to be forgiven. What should be your attitude and heart with that? And so, but praise God, in this situation, my wife, faced her abuser, approached him boldly, approached him courageously, and shared with that individual that her heart toward him was not malicious. It was not one of revenge. It was not one of resentment or bitterness that she had harbored in her heart at all. And with that, I believe that opened up the door for this gentleman to confess his sin and to ask to be forgiven. And so that's what we discussed on the last video. So this video today, I guess we want to talk about what? What you want to discuss?
I think we were going to talk about how things went, I guess, after.
Yeah. Okay.
After that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I guess from our engagement.
Yes.
To, you talking with my parents.
Yeah.
What went on, from that point.
Okay. So, so prior to us getting married, your parents didn't know much about your relationship with him, right?
No.
Did they know you were happy? Did they know you were being abused? Well, they had a sense of knowing your dad did when he asked you, mm-hmm. did he hit you or something like that, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he knew that his daughter, which again blows my mind of God's amazing restraint, because I know how your dad felt about you, when he was alive. And I'll say this for the record, when I had asked her dad, for his daughter's hand in marriage, he told me that he appreciated, me approaching him. And I remember where I was, because every time I used to come to y'all house,
where'd my dad be?
My dad would be in that carport.
Yep.
He'd be in that carport, under the carport, waxing his Cadillac. Because old folk always had a Cadillac, and he had one of the cleanest Cadillacs.
Yep.
Waxing and buffing that Cadillac or his truck. Mm-hmm. And mostly every time I would come over there, he would always be outside. And I think I remember telling you that I was going to ask your dad that. I think I did. Yeah. I think I did. So because I wanted to do things the right way during that time. So he did ask me one question. He did ask me. He said, "Are you going to treat my daughter right?" And I remember when he asked me that, I didn't know what his reference was when he asked me that question. Mm-hmm. But in my mind, maybe it had been the same reference that I had, because I knew that you were in an abusive relationship, and I knew that the toll that it took on you, but I didn't know how much he knew. That's why I didn't say much. But when he asked me that question, I told him, I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "Matter of fact," I said, I plan on taking care of her, better than you. And I think he chuckled and laughed because he was like, "Oh, okay, all right. So you will, huh?" And I said, "Yes, sir, I'm gonna try." I said, "I'm gonna try." And I said, "I know she's spoiled." He said, "Yeah, she's spoiled. That's my baby, and so you gonna have a lot on your hands." I said, "Okay." I said, "Yes, sir, I know." I said, "I know," but I remember asking him that, and so that was so for me, I was like, okay, I got that out the way. Little did I know, you told me, "Well, my mom wants to talk to you too." And I said, "Okay, what she wants to talk to me about?"
I had no clue.
Yeah, because I said, "What she want to talk to me about?" And you said, "I don't know." And I said, "Okay." I said, and I think I don't know. That could have been the same day. I'm not sure if that's the same day or not.
I don't know either, but I know I didn't go in there with y'all.
No, you didn't. But I knew it was a separate occasion. I do know that, because I asked your dad for your hand in marriage. He granted that, and he commended me for doing that, and he said that he appreciates me and things of that nature. So, but then when I did meet your mother, I
talked to her. You had already met her.
Oh yeah, when I talked to her. When I talked to her. So when I talked to her, and Sharon's mom has a very light voice. It's one of those very light voices. So she was like, "Oh, I said, go." I said, "How you doing, Miss York?" And she said, "I said, Sharon said you want to talk to me." She said, "Oh yes. I want to talk to you." She said, "You have a minute?" I said, "Yes, ma'am." So she took me in the back of the room in their house, and I never forget, we sat on the bed in the guest room. Mm-hmm. And she said to me, "Well, Sharon told me how she feels about you, and I need to know how you feel about about Sharon, because you know that's my daughter and I love her, and you know I want to make sure that you're going to take care of her. And I said, yes, ma'am. And she was aware of course, the kids, you know, the boys that we had, you know, Jamar and Kia, she was aware of that. And she asked me this question. She said, are you free from those two, from your son's mother? I said, free? She said, I mean, are you attached to them? Is there any attachments to them? Do you have any tendency of going back to any of them, to either one of them? I said, no, ma'am. I said, I have no intentions on going back to either one. I said, you know, I want to be with, you know, your daughter. And that's why I asked to, you know, ask your husband, you know, her dad for her hand in marriage. And so she said, okay. She said, I just want to make sure, because, you know, I want to make sure that she's going to be treated right. And I want to make sure that you're going to love her. And she said, I want to make sure that you're going to, you know, put her first. I remember those words. And she said, put her first. Mm. And I said, yes, ma'am. I said, that's my intention. I said, you know, I don't see myself being with anyone else other than your daughter. And I said, you have my word on that. And she said, okay. She said, I'm gonna hold you to that. And I said, yes, ma'am. And then she told me, she said, I believe she told me, I see how you treat her now. I just want to be sure that it's just not something that's just, you know, short-lived. Mm. And I said, no, ma'am. I said, it's not. It's not. And so from then on, even before then, she would make me breakfast. You remember that? She would make breakfast when I would come over there, because what happened? I used to pick you up.
I think we gave your car back. Remember, we turned your car back in. Your Jetta. The Jetta? Man, I love that car. We turned your car back in. God, so you would take my car home and then come pick me up.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Yes.
That car was paid off, right? Your car.
My car, yes.
Okay. What was your dad's attitude? I guess he didn't care, but I knew maybe, I think two things. Maybe it was because the car was paid off, and then number two, was it because you think he knew me or knew I cared myself? Because I know he didn't care about the other guy and him having your car. So what was there a conversation about that? There was no conversation about that at all. He never asked you what was your car?
Nope.
Or nothing?
Nope.
Why?
I don't know. He never questioned why I let you take my car home.
How long were we dating or engaged? Were we engaged then? I mean,
we were engaged then.
Okay.
At that point.
Okay.
But yeah, so we were down to one car, even though I was still at home, and you had your apartment, and I was working.
Yes.
Too.
Yep. So
you would take the car to your house, and then get up early in the morning, come pick me up for work, and my mom would have breakfast for you. Your bacon and toast.
Listen to me, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to me. This is the upside of the mountain that we are on now. You know, we went through the valley of abuse. Now we're over it, and now we're into the promised land of better things. So when I would take Sharon's car, I lived across town. So I lived in Greenspoint. I had lived in Greenspoint at the time. She lived on the northeast side of Houston. So those of you who know anything about Houston, you know Greenspoint and northeast side is about
almost 30, but
almost
quite.
Maybe, yeah, depending on traffic.
Yeah.
So anyway, so I would drive across town, and I think almost every day, because I work Monday through Friday, and then sometimes Saturday. But anyway, I would pick her up, and every morning her mother would make sure that I had something to eat, and I was kind of shocked at first, because when I went there the first time that I went into the house, I said, "Good morning, Mr. York. Good morning, Miss York." Because that was her mother and father's name, and her last name is York, maiden name. So I said, "Good morning, Mr. York. Good morning, Mr. York." And
because they were both up.
My
dad was still working,
and he was getting ready to go to work.
Yeah,
he was getting ready to go. But that's how early I got there. So anyway, I would see him before he left to go to work, and she would say, "Seiko, you want something to eat?" And I said, yes, ma'am. And she said, well, I got some bacon and toast here for you. Sharon is getting dressed, so you can just have a seat. And so I sat there and I ate that bacon, man. I don't know what was in that bacon. I don't know what was in that. It was just simple toast and bacon. And I'm telling you right now, to this very day, that's what I have Sharon to make sometimes, or just bottom line, or just bacon.
Croissant and bacon.
Or croissant, but at least bacon. I had to have bacon. So, and I say that because I do not recall your abuser being invited.
No.
And you see what I'm saying? So
no, never.
Yeah, and I guess why I was bringing up the issue of the car was because, you know, the issue that happened to your car when your dad had, you know, met him and the mother, and he said, "Where's your car?"
Yeah. And
you was like, you know, kind of like just frozen.
Yeah.
And so versus to where it is now. So let's talk about our relationship. You know, how did you know that this relationship would not be an abusive relationship? I mean, you know, what was your mentality, you know, then? Well,
there were, coming from an abusive relationship, of course, you know, there are things that you look for.
Okay.
And I didn't see any of those characteristics with you. You were not controlling. You were not hovering.
Aside from that joke that backfired.
Yeah.
Horribly backfired. I'm like, golly.
I felt very free and very comfortable with you. And I even felt that way before we were dating, because, you know, we were friends first. Mm-hmm. We were really friends first. Mm-hmm. Were we not?
Yeah.
Why are you rolling your eyes?
I mean, yeah, we were. Yep. We were.
Is that not how it started?
Yeah, that's how it started, ma'am. Yep. That's how it started. We were just bosom buddies. We were just friends. Yeah, we were friends. Yep.
Anyway, yeah, so, and then as time went on, just noticing the difference in how you treated me. Mm-hmm. It was the utmost importance to you to make sure that I was taken care of, that I had what I needed and also what I wanted. Because being an only child, I was spoiled. Right. I mean, my daddy told him that. I told him that from day one. So it's not like it was a surprise.
She had like it was a vow. That's they act like it was, but
I mean, hey, shoot. I was definitely spoiled. And I would have to say that you kept up that end of the bargain, so to speak. Mm. You held firmly to that. There were very few times. In fact, I can't even remember a time when you told me no back then. You started telling me no until we got married. But
yeah, got you now. Shoot, where you gonna go? To whom shall you go?
Whatever. But yeah, so yeah, if I wanted dessert after our date, I got dessert. Mm-hmm. My chocolate cake or my chocolate mousse cheesecake.
Yeah.
Whatever I wanted, I got it.
So now, where you are now, years removed, you said the impetus of this whole series because you saw how Marcus Rogers, mm-hmm. some of the characteristics and some of the, you know, earmarks of how a narcissist, you know, carries himself. Yeah. You saw it in my dealing with him and exposing him and some of the people that he has affected. Mm-hmm. But I think you mentioned something about, you know, how with Wendy Williams. I mean, explain that. You're talking about how Wendy Williams, you know, why did you bring that up? I mean, what is her situation?
I brought it up because last week she was in the news again. And she was in the news because initially, the week before that, they have just canceled her show. And now Sharon is going to have a show in the same time slot.
Wow. I knew that was bound to happen though eventually. In my mind, I felt that.
I didn't know it was going to happen because they signed a contract with her. You know,
they have a right to revoke it.
Terminate the contract, I guess.
Of course.
But yeah, the week prior to that, they canceled the show, and it's going to play out through June, I believe it is. But the other thing is, last week she was in the news again because her ex-husband is allegedly back in her life, but not in her life like in a relationship. He's back in her life trying to negotiate things for her as far as her finances, as far as her contract goes, because he was employed there. He was, I think, executive producer or something, or whatever title she gave him. He was, I guess, allegedly the tyrant of the show.
Yeah.
And they have also said something about her money being frozen. And so now he's fighting for that because, of course, that's his money too. His stuff is messed up.
Wow.
And I say allegedly because I don't know if that's 100% true or not, but I've just heard swarms of him being back trying to negotiate things and make everything right again for her. Supposedly he's the only one that she will listen to. He's the only one that has that kind of access to her to negotiate stuff for her.
Wow.
And I brought that up because either she was or she still is, it appears that she has the markings of an abused woman.
Wow.
And I say that because after all of that, you know, the real and the uncut version of her Lifetime special,
right,
knowing all of the stuff that this man did to her, had a full baby outside within their marriage with somebody else, you would allow this man to come back and still negotiate stuff for you.
And she's letting him do that? I mean,
allegedly.
Okay.
From what I've heard.
Okay.
He still has some kind of hold on her. She has not, and I think another thing is all of these emotional outbursts, these emotional breakdowns that she's having is because she has not dealt with the fact that he has moved on. Okay. She has not dealt with the fact that he has another whole family outside of the one that she created with him.
Right.
I'm sure that hurt her to the core.
Yeah. And
this is how she's dealing with it. It's not the proper way to deal with it.
Yeah.
But apparently she doesn't know how. Yeah. And she has nobody in her life to teach her or show her how. Yeah. I don't even know if she'd be willing to have somebody teach her or show her how to deal with definitely a narcissist like Kevin. But it just rang true to me because I saw how I don't think people realize when you have been with someone like that for so long, it takes the power of God. It takes the Holy Spirit to remove that from you. Because that person still has that hold and that control on you, even when they're gone. This man has moved out and is gone. You're paying him alimony so that he can continue to live the life that he had off of your money while y'all were married.
Yeah.
And you're still allowing him to negotiate this contract for you or try to renegotiate this contract for you and talk to the banks and stuff to get your money unfrozen because you're not strong enough to do it on your own.
Yeah. Go ahead. Finish it up. Sorry.
That's just a telltale sign to me that you're not strong enough to move forward on your own. You still have this hold of this crutch that you have to lean on because you feel more secure with this person over here than you do trusting somebody else or yourself, for that matter, to do it yourself.
So let's, for the last few moments we have, how do you help people come out of these abusive situations, or know how to move forward? What are some practical ways that a person like a Wendy Williams, if you had an opportunity to sit down with Wendy, knowing what you know about her from what has been given, because that's all you can go is by the information that's just been presented, how would you help her or people like a Wendy Williams, move forward or free themselves or get delivered from this? You mentioned that it takes the Holy Spirit of God, so maybe you can start there and build with that. So how would you help somebody with that? With our last
first of all, she's gonna need Jesus. Because she's trying to do this in and of her own strength, and she's not going to be able to do that. She doesn't have the strength nor the willpower to pull it off. And outside of Christ, I don't think any of us do.
Yeah.
When somebody has that kind of hold on you, like I said before, Christ is the only one that can empower you to do such a thing.
Right.
And then allow you to cut ties, sever ties for good from somebody who was there 24/7 for you or with you.
Yeah.
I don't think you can do it without Christ. I really don't. And if you do, it's temporary.
Okay.
And if you do, it's all of these self-help kind of methods that don't last forever. They don't last long.
So
they give you temporary relief.
So what are some practical ways you would help a woman like a Wendy Williams? What would be one of the first things you would tell her? Outside of giving her the gospel, you telling her need for Christ. Aside from that, and that's not minimizing it, but I'm saying from a practical standpoint now, how would you help a woman like her?
Well, the first thing she would have to do is, your son is grown, so he can still have a relationship with his dad, but that doesn't mean that she has to still communicate with him.
Okay.
Communications need to be cut.
Okay.
Period.
Okay.
Any kind of back and forth, because one thing I do know is if they even sense that they still have just this much control over you still, they know how to use it. They know how to verbalize it. They know how to say things to get you where they want you to be.
Okay.
To where you just crumble under whatever it is they say.
Okay.
So first thing would be cut ties. You have to separate yourself and put some room and some distance between you and that former abuser, or you and that former whatever he is. Mm-hmm. That's first.
Okay.
Secondly, I would say surround yourself with people who can be a support system for you. You need someone in your corner. And if you're a believer, of course, you need other brothers and sisters in Christ.
Right.
You need those people in your corner to be praying with you, to hold you accountable, so that you don't fall. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to slip. You're going to make a phone call, or you're going to go visit. You're going to do all this stuff that you shouldn't be doing. And if you have somebody that you're accountable to, and that's somebody that's also holding you accountable, and I mean genuinely holding you accountable, they can stop you or help you, prevent you from doing things that are going to backtrack and make you backtrack, rather.
Gotcha.
Going back to or putting yourself in situations where you're prone to fall. Those are two of the major things that I can think of at this point.
Right. So basically, like you said, cutting off any and all forms of communication from that individual. Having accountable people in your life that's going to love you enough to tell you the truth.
Yes, absolutely.
And you have to submit yourself under that person's accountability and authority.
Yeah.
Because I think
you
for too many people
to do that.
Yeah, because for people like Wendy, they consider themselves as powerful. They have people that they tell what to do.
Right.
The humbling thing for her is going to now have to be told what to do.
And listening to somebody.
And listening to somebody. So I would agree. And the song that you were talking about the last time was Lauryn Hill. It's called X Factor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. How many times, no matter how I walk away, you always say things to make me stay. That one. Yeah. So you mentioned, people knowing what to say.
Yes.
And if you're not careful, they can bring them back in. So that song X Factor is what I remember it was. But I think that we have 4 girls, and we value, number one, their purity, and we want to protect it, and also protect their own safety. And we almost had a close call with our oldest one, and we had to nip that one in the bud, just being honest. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It didn't get to any physical nothing like that, but I'm saying it was just the, getting of age, and now you got people, boys or young men, trying to pull up and trying to, talk, and if they're not careful, they find themselves getting caught up into a situation where it could have gone.
Because they know what to say.
They know what to say. Exactly.
And they're inexperienced.
Exactly.
So your inexperience could get you
in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. A lot of trouble. And let me say also to young women who may be married to an abuser or may be with an abuser.
Right.
Plan your exit carefully. Be methodical, but be careful.
Yeah.
And make sure that somebody else knows your plan.
Not the abuser.
No, definitely not the abuser. Right. But make sure that somebody that you can trust knows what your plan is.
Right.
Where you're going to go when you leave. Even if you have to go to a shelter. And see, the thing of it is, for me, I wasn't married, so I was still living at home.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go find somewhere to live. But there are women out there, even men, who are married to their abuser. So in your finding a shelter, in your search of looking for places to go, only share that information with somebody who is going to be willing to help you get there.
Right.
Don't just be telling people all.
Even your family. If there's some people in your family you don't need to tell. Like we read that letter from the sister that I shared on
her mom betrayed her.
Her mom betrayed her. So you got to be careful, y'all. You have to be careful.
You have to be careful.
Yeah. I'll say this, and I would believe that anyone listening to this, and even my wife, we would rather you go to a shelter than to hear about you being in somebody's cemetery.
Right.
Because at least you have a chance to see another day.
Yeah.
But once you're gone, there's no coming back from that. And so, yeah.
And I know the gripping fear that some of you may have, that the abuser is going to find you. The abuser is going to figure out where you've gone. That's why I'm saying just be careful in planning your exit. Make sure you have money saved up, because you're going to need money. I don't think they charge you at the shelters, but I'm saying when you get ready to leave the shelter, and you get ready to go find your own place somewhere. And I'm not saying all of them do this, but some might. Once you call their bluff, they I didn't really think she was going to leave.
Yeah.
And then you're gone, and it's like, well, some of them might be glad that you're gone.
Yeah. And I think also this is why it's important to get involved in a local church as well, too.
Absolutely.
Contacting, someone, and getting connected to a local fellowship, local church where you can find, the support and help you need. Because there are people out there that have the gift of helps, and they're just looking for opportunities for people to be ministered to and to be helped. So, we want to be a ministry like that for those of you who may experience this kind of thing, or you're just coming out of it, or you still are dealing with the lingering effects of it. And this is why we put the content and information at the bottom of the video in every one of these videos that we've done in this series. And this one is no different. So again, if you would like to reach out to us, our information is listed at the bottom of the video through email. Also the resources and ministry helps for those who are abused, male and female. The resources are there for you as well, for you to contact, hotline numbers, shelters, resources.
And there's also nothing wrong, you guys, with counseling. There's absolutely nothing wrong with biblical counseling.
Right.
Not psychology, biblical counseling.
Amen. Yeah.
If you can find a nouthetic counselor within your church or within your area, seek help from a nouthetic counselor. And they can help you work out some of those things in your heart and in your mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to end this series. We hope and pray that it has been a blessing to you.
I really hope so.
Please let us know. Give us your thoughts. Let us know how this series and these videos have blessed you. Again, if you have any questions, anything that we could help you with, feel free to contact us through the email information that you've seen on the screen. If you'd like to support the ministry financially, we definitely appreciate the gifts and the support and the love that you have given to us. But that information of donations and information there is listed at the bottom of the video as well. So thank you so much for sticking it out with us. We hope it has been a blessing and an encouragement, and also a support for you as well. And until next video, next time, another topic with Love, Life, and Marriage with the Woods. And we will see y'all later. Bye.